Hey, what's up? I'm Ashley. Thank you for watching this video. And today we're going to be talking about Yellowjackets Season 2, Episode 4. And let's get started. So Shauna comes walking into the cabin with her little platter. She's like, all right, who's the thief? Someone's been sneaking the bear meat out of the shed. They think they deserve more than the rest of us, huh? She's like, if anybody should have been eating extra meat, it should have been me. But it wasn't because I'm not the worst. I'm not going to even beg to differ because I'm not begging. I'ma just differ because you are the worst, Shauna. Then we have second worst over here, Mari telling Akila that it was probably Coach Ben who ate the meat out of the shed because he thinks he's better than all of us. How did he limp walk all the way over there without anyone seeing him, Mari? So Coach Ben's telling her, I wasn't the one who ate the meat out of the meat shed. And if I did, what was y'all gonna do? Eat me? Then Mari steps up to Coach Ben like she was gonna do something. Now, why would you do that to somebody who can only walk with some sticks, Mari? Then when Natalie starts to try to break this up, Mari looks at her and starts blaming her for the reason why they don't have any food. She said, it's your fault why we don't have nothing to eat. Lottie's trying to bless you before you go on your walk and you're nowhere to be found. You don't want to be blessed by Lottie. So it's your fault, Mari. If you're hungry, then you go out there and find your own food to eat. It's your fault if you're hungry because you can go out there and get your own food. Oh, wait, you can't because you're useless. You're useless. But Mari keeps going and she's like, Lottie is the only reason why we was able to get those birds. They're so far up Lottie's butt. And like I figured, they did end up eating the birds. And that's why Coach Ben got some energy now. He doesn't look like he has only 3 hours left to live now. But since most other people doesn't think that it was a coincidence that those birds came falling down on the house, Natalie says, well, let's make this a competition. Me and Lottie go out by ourselves and let's see who brings back the most food. Lottie looks scared, but she goes along with it, and they all agree that they have to make the kill by themselves, and if they're not back by sundown, then they'll go out to find them. So they get ready, they bundle up, and they head out there. But before we move on, I need to say I think it could have been Taissa who was eating the meat out of the meat shed since she doesn't remember anything, or it could have been Mari since she was so mad, trying to deflect away from her. But y'all let me know who y'all think it was. So now, when Natalie was out there trying to find some food, she sees this moose stuck in the ice. And I think it's the same moose that we saw last week. But who knows? It could be another moose out there. So she goes back to tell everybody, I found a moose in the ice, but I need y'all help to help me get it out. Then there goes Mari. That's against the rules. Girl, shut up. I'm tired of her. She said, I'ma tell Lottie. Don't nobody care. Misty said, tell her I didn't want to starve. So when Natalie and the people who went with her got out there, they're digging with their hands, but me, I'ma need a break because my fingers are cold. They're about to fall off. They tie a rope on the antler's ears and they're trying to pull it out of the ice, but it doesn't work. The moose ends up falling even more deeper inside of the water. Natalie is distraught. She just knew they was about to be eaten through the spring. Just look at it, disappearing in the water. I blame this on Shauna because what was she doing out there anyway? She's pregnant. Shouldn't she be laying down somewhere trying to portion out the rest of the food that they do have? Not out there trying to be pulling the moose out of the ice? This is Shauna's fault. Or this could be Lottie's fault. Maybe she put a curse on Natalie so that she wouldn't win. And I think it's not a coincidence that they were showing us these antler ears like this, because isn't Lottie supposed to be an antler queen? Wasn't Lottie wearing the antler ears or something at one point? And she had some antler ears on her house at her coat, because if it wasn't Lottie's fault, then why was she out there cutting on her hand doing her little voodoo magic on this random tree stump that she found? What did that do? Did she think she was gonna find some food like that? What is she doing out there? But she did start to hallucinate. She saw the same plane that Laura Lee got in, thought she could fly in, but blew up in. She goes to the plane, she opens it up, and she sees Leonard. Poor Leonard, R.I.P. to him again. He was an unwilling participant in this mess. He didn't want to get in that plane with Laura Lee. Then she finds Laura Lee's necklace, and then she decides to climb inside of this hole that she finds on the plane. And when she gets inside of this hole, it takes her to a shopping mall. Of all places, she goes to the mall. So when she gets to the mall, she sees everyone sitting at this table at the food court, including Laura Lee. Laura Lee told her, I got you some food because you look hungry. And that's when Van says, I think I saw a coat for sale at Abercrombie, and points out the fact that she's shivering. But Lottie's like, but I don't have any money. I don't have a credit card. Natalie said, when did that ever stop you? Because remember in season 1, Lottie confessed that she used to go to TJ Maxx and do some fraudulent things and get free TJ bucks. That's when Laura Lee gets up and tells Lottie that she has to get her out of here. If she doesn't get out of here, then she's going to die. So that's when she pushes Lottie out of her hallucinating dream. What I got from this was Lottie was on the verge of death. She got so cold out there. Instead of seeing the light, she saw a shopping mall instead. She couldn't take it anymore, so she was passing out. But y'all let me know what you think was going on with Lottie, because that was weird. We get back to the cabin and we see Natalie taking a hot bath. Shauna was helping her, and that's the least she could do since she was no help out there. Then we see Lottie coming through the door with some assistance because she didn't make it back before sundown. She looked like she was in pain. Her face was red, and of course she was. She was passed out on the snow. Natalie's like, get her to the tub. I'm just hoping that wasn't the same bath water Natalie was just sitting in. I hope they're not sharing bath water. Mari is hearing those drops again. I hope it drives her insane. More insane than she already is. She's over here bugging Akila, talking about, help me figure out where these drops is coming from, when Akila is trying to study for when they get back home. She's like, I'ma still be in the same grade when I get back home. I'm trying to study. But Mari's like, no, help me figure out where these drops are coming from, because she's selfish. I'm just surprised that they have an SAT book in the cabin of all things. Who would have thought? But Akila does help her try to find out where these drops are coming from. But of course, they don't find anything. But Akila did find a mouse that she's hiding from everybody and put in her pocket. I wonder if she's really going to try to keep this as a pet because she looks happy about it, or if she's going to get so hungry that she can't take it anymore and end up eating her own mouse, or will somebody else find it and eat it up. So we see Taissa and Van in the woods, and Van is trying to wake Taissa up because she's asleep again. And when she's finally able to wake Taissa up, she lets Taissa know that she took them to another tree with this symbol on it. And Taissa's like, I don't want to hear this right now. I want to go back to bed. And she refused again to talk to Lottie when Van brought it up. She said, it's not Lottie's business. I'm going back to bed. Then the next day, Van lets Taissa know that she's been making maps of all the trees that Taissa's been taking them to when she was sleepwalking. She tells her that the maps are creating the same symbol that's been engraved on the trees that Taissa's been taking them to. Taissa basically tells her that she's tripping and that you can make any shape out of these maps. You can tell Van is fed up with her. She tells her it's possible that I'm wrong, but if I am right, then there should be a tree with a symbol on it right here. She points to it at the map. And she's like, will you come with me to try to find it? And Taissa agrees to go with her to try to find this tree with this symbol on it. When they go out there to try to find this tree, they're not finding anything. And Van's like, let's just head back. But Taissa is like, no, let's stay out here for a little bit longer. And while they do that, Van notices the same tree that Natalie and Travis saw where the ice on it is melting. And Van is like, why is the ice melting on this tree? That's weird. And while she's looking at this tree, Taissa notices something or hears something or something. And we see her and Van start to chase after somebody. And I'm like, who is that? And it turned out to be Javi. Javi is in the woods. I figured that he was alive because they was trying to push it too hard to make it seem like he wasn't alive. But Taissa and Van bring him back to the cabin and everybody is shook. They're like, Javi? How could this be? Where did you come from? Javi doesn't seem to remember Travis. He looks a little confused. Like, who is this hugging me? Where do y'all think Javi's been this whole time? It definitely has to do something with that tree. Natalie put on this whole act as in like Javi was dead. These are his pants that I found in the wilderness. He didn't make it. This is his blood. Cut up her own leg. I'm curious to see what Travis is going to say to her. But Van's like, hold up. Lottie knew that he was alive, but Taissa is the one who knew where he was. I'm starting to believe more and more that Taissa and Lottie are connected in some kind of way. Especially since Taissa is so against Lottie, it would make sense that somehow they're connected in some kind of way and Taissa not even know it. And when I get to adult Lottie, I'll get into more detail on why I think they're connected. Now let's get into adult Taissa. When we first see her, she's dreaming. Of course, we see her inside of Jessica Roberts' house. We see the good Taissa and then we see the evil Taissa. And we see, I don't know which one of them, looking through Jessica Roberts' things. It wasn't like she ran out of gas in the middle of the street. Girl, I don't know what you be doing. Then she gets her phone to find out where exactly she is. Then we see her wake up inside of her campaign manager's car, and the tank is on E. And when she woke up, she acted like she was surprised that she didn't have no gas in the car. So you telling me you didn't realize you was running out of gas? Was she sleep driving again? I'm confused because she was parked on the side of the road. Taissa is reckless with cars. Okay, don't let Taissa use your car, and don't give her a dog. Steve is a dog. That's like having a kid. He needs love, care, and affection. He needs attention. Does he have water to drink? And if he does, it's probably dirty. Who is walking him? Who is feeding him? Oh, Lord, Steve. Anyway, so Taissa is walking in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing around. I'm like, does Van work in the boondocks? She don't want nobody around her. But while she's walking, a man in a big rig pulls up and he opens up the door. Me, I'm scared now because I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get took. But Taissa hopped right on in after the man said, I voted for you. So now though, we do see Taissa get dropped off in front of Van's shop. And when Taissa goes inside, we finally get to see Van and Taissa. I was hoping we got to see them together more in this episode, but of course not. I'm glad Taissa finally got to Van though. Van will be the one that helps Taissa get through this whole thing. I did notice this cut on Van's arm. It looks fresh. I think that they made it a point to show us Van drinking out of this cup with this arm on purpose. But before we move on, I have a question about Taissa's dream. She was obviously dreaming, but when we see her wake up in the car, we see what she took from Jessica Roberts' house. So that means that she was actually at Jessica Roberts' house, and the dream that she was having in the car was her dreaming about being at Jessica's house. I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but help me if I'm not making any sense. So now let's get into Natalie and then Lottie. So when Natalie was snooping on Lottie, she was like, where you going dressed like that? And Lottie said, I'm going to the bank. Natalie's like, I need those keys because I'm going with Lisa. Lottie's thinking that's kind of suspicious because she's like, you don't take me for someone who wants to go sell honey. So Natalie's lying to her. I can tell she's lying. And she's like, I just want to go with her so she can feel more comfortable with me and forgive me even more since I did stab her in the face with a fork. So Lottie's like, okay, whatever. Just let her drive because she needs practice. So Lisa's driving them to where Natalie thinks is the farmer's market, but they end up pulling up to Lisa's mom's house. But first, when Lisa and Natalie was inside of the car, Natalie was asking Lisa if she feels manipulated by Lottie and if she feels like Lottie is just trying to give them the illusion that they're free to go whenever they want, but really they're not. And of course Lisa's defending Lottie. She calls her Charlotte, no, Charlotte would never do this. So when they get to Lisa's mom's house, Lisa asks Natalie to not tell Charlotte that they came here. And Natalie's like, oh, why can't you tell her? I thought you guys was free. She said, Charlotte just doesn't think that it's a good idea to see your family because she thinks that our anchor should be at the compound. That sounds crazy. But when they get inside Lisa's mom's house, Lisa is letting her mom know that she's doing good now. She doesn't want to off herself like she did before. She's not depressed anymore, and she just went to say hi to her and the fish. When her mom asked was she still taking her medication, Lisa said no, but that she's had help getting weaned off of it. Lisa's mom is toxic. She's downplaying all of her accomplishments and not even acknowledging the fact that Lisa's feeling happy now. And Natalie was trying to take up for her, but mom wasn't trying to hear it. And even Lisa didn't want Natalie to say anything because I think she was afraid that she was going to make things worse. So when Lisa's mom kept coming at her with all this negative stuff, she was like, I'll just take the fish and go. And her mom was like, no, you won't. The fish is going nowhere. You're going to end up killing the fish. Lisa just ended up leaving after that. But when she left the house, Natalie was still inside of the house. So when Natalie got inside of the car with Lisa, she opened up her mouth and the fish came out of her mouth. She was like, I got your fish for you. Ugh. How did that feel inside of your mouth like that? I would have been spit it out. Little fish would have been on the concrete. Never would have even made it inside of the car. But after they went to this bar and Natalie was showing her support to Lisa, she was like, if you want to off yourself, then off yourself. But it doesn't look like you want to tonight. And I have a feeling that this fish will make it through the night. Forget what your mom said. And Lisa's like, do you still want to offer yourself? Because I was there that night when you was about to. And Natalie's like, no, not tonight. But does that mean you're gonna want to do it another night, girl? But when they get back to the cult compound, Lisa is showing everybody her fish, and while she's doing that, Natalie notices that she has time to go into Lottie's house and go into her cabinet that she was acting suspicious about. Maybe next week we'll find out what's inside of Lottie's cabinet. What y'all think is in there? But I do think that they put Natalie and Lisa together because they have a similar family background. We all saw in season 1 how Natalie was treated at home and what happened with that situation. And they both suffer with depression. And so I feel like maybe Natalie and Lisa will get closer this season, but we'll see. We saw Lottie tell Natalie that she was dressed up like that because she was going to the bank. But we know that she went to see a psychiatrist, and it wasn't even her normal regular psychiatrist. She couldn't wait for that. She had to go see somebody right now. She told her that the one that she's been seeing every 6 months for the last 10 years had to go on a last minute leave, but that she promises that she's caught up on her file. And I bet she is, because this is interesting to her. And what's interesting to me is that Lottie had to see this psychiatrist that wasn't even her real one 5 weeks early. I wouldn't want anybody new working with me. With my situation, Lottie is letting everybody know what happened out there. But it couldn't wait because Lottie wants to up the dose on her meds because she's having visions again and she cannot have those again, she said. She's like, I've been working hard. I built something to help myself and other people, and these visions need to stop. The psychiatrist is like, well, don't you think these visions are trying to tell you something? And Lottie's like, no, because they're not real. So they're not real now? Or are you lying to us? She gotta be lying to us, and I don't appreciate it. We see her in her office later, and we see her gratitude entries. One of them says, I'm grateful for my passion and drive. I'm grateful for my healing journey. And the other one says, I am grateful for my friends. You got friends? I'm thinking she wrote that when she was a teenager. One reason being is because where her friends at now, I don't see any. I just see cult members. And 2 is because we see a Queen of Hearts with his eyes blacked out. Why would the eyes be blacked out? And who would think to do this? Did Taissa get a hold of these cards? Maybe Lottie did find out that Taissa was sleepwalking out there. Whether Taissa told her herself or Van snitched on her. It seems like things were at their worst for Taissa and Lottie while they were out there in the wilderness, and now just recently in present day, and it seems like things are getting worse for them right now, all at the same time. See, they are somehow connected in the show, was trying to throw us off by Taissa being so against Lottie, because when they were out in the wilderness, Lottie was saying that Javi was still alive. Taissa was sleepwalking and found the trees and the symbols to actually find Javi. So some way, somehow, they gotta be connected. But y'all let me know what you think about that theory. Anyway, after Lottie saw this Queen of Hearts with his eyes blacked out, something triggered her to go outside and start cutting her hand up. I don't know what it is with Lottie and cutting her hand, but she did it again. I don't know what that's supposed to do. They need to hurry up and tell us. But y'all let me know if you have any theories about Lottie. Jeff let Shauna know that the cops know about the affair. She's like, well, how would they know that? Jeff said, well, you were out in public with him, going everywhere, weren't you? Shauna had the audacity to get mad talking about, well, at least I didn't have a ski mask on, blackmailing people in public, and walked away. She needs some help, but don't save her, because she don't want to be saved. Don't save her. When Callie came into the kitchen, she told them that she was going to be hanging with Alana again that night. But when Shauna ran into Alana's mom in the parking lot, Alana's mom let Shauna know that Callie hasn't been spending the night over there in weeks. When Shauna found this out, she started snooping around in Callie's room, and that's when she found that little piece of Adam's burnt up ID in Callie's drawer. So that's when Shauna pulled up on Callie when Callie was in the middle of a conversation with Jay, the secret cop, to meet up that night at 7. She told Callie to get in the car. I'm surprised Callie got inside of the car so easily. So after they was driving for a while, Shauna parks the car and she gets out. She tells Callie to get out. And when they're both outside of the car, Callie's like, I'm tired of all these lies. I'm tired of the secrets. So that's when Shauna decides to tell Callie the truth and let her know that, yeah, she did kill Adam because she thought that Adam was the blackmailer, but it turned out that he wasn't the blackmailer. It was your dad who was actually the blackmailer. So Callie is mind blown. She can't believe it. Shauna is a whole fool for telling Callie the truth. That's why Callie is so dumb. That's why her nickname is Dumb Dumb Callie. She got it from her mama. Shauna is reckless. Nothing will come good from this. That's why when Jeff found out about this, he was surprised. He couldn't believe it. He was just as shocked as Callie when Callie found out that her mama killed Adam. Jeff just cannot believe that Shauna actually told Callie the truth. Shauna talking about, I don't want to keep any more secrets from our daughter. The same daughter who be keeping all the secrets from y'all. The same daughter who's over there talking to a secret cop who looks like he belongs in the 1970s. The same daughter who thinks that she's doing something just because she admitted that she was never hanging out with Alana. Instead, she was hanging out with a friend. Didn't say who, specified that it was a guy. And that they've been drinking at the park, but she's not going to do it anymore. She's going to be honest. Girl, shut up. And I don't think it was a coincidence that Jeff was talking about how they only have one child and they have to do right by this child, blah, 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 blah. Y'all didn't always just have one child. What happened to it? Where'd it go? So then we see Misty and Walter on their road trip to try to find out where Natalie is. And we see Misty on the phone leaving a voicemail on Taissa's phone saying that she's worried that her or Natalie hasn't called her back yet. Don't make me come looking for you. And then she hangs up and she tells Walter that she's going to be very, very, very annoyed if both Taissa and Natalie got kidnapped. And Walter is telling her that she's such a good friend to be caring about her friends like this. Misty ate that up. But then she got mad because she thought that he was trying to play her because he told her to pull out the cassette tapes so that they could listen to them. And when she saw what the cassette tapes were, she was like, okay, you're a fan. You've done research on me because you're one of those people who's obsessed with the Yellowjackets, because she's thinking there's no way me and him like the same type of music. I bet it's a weird list of songs too. I bet it's some weird songs up in there. But Walter reassures her that her being a Yellowjacket is the least interesting thing about her, and Misty ate that up too. We see them out to eat, and after some back and forth on whether or not if they should ask their waiter if they know where the cult is, they decide to anyway. The waitress lets them know that they're terrible tippers and that they sell their honey at the farmer's market every Tuesday. So they were able to get a lead from that, and they're on their way there. But this part where we see how Walter eats his pancake is hilarious. We see him put syrup on it and then mustard. Misty looked like she was disgusted, but turned on at the same time. I wonder if she eat her pancake like that too and just don't want to tell them. When they get to the farmer's market, this lady is at the same stand that the cult is usually in. So Misty walks up to her and she says, where are the purple people at? And the lady lets them know that they're not here today, but you can find them off Route 19 somewhere. So Misty's like, we gotta go right now. But Walter's like, hold on a minute, it's getting dark. We should get ourselves a hotel. So that's what they do. They get themselves a hotel. When they get there, they get 2 separate rooms under 2 fake names because that's what good detectives do. And then we see them in their room and they're doing the exact same thing at the exact same time. These 2 must be soulmates. They gotta be soulmates. I was thinking that Walter could probably be a fraud, but I still don't trust him. He probably is a fraud and he's just a good actor. But y'all let me know what you think about Walter and how you feel about Walter and Misty together. We see a flashback of Coach Ben, and in this flashback, we see him looking through his boyfriend's things, and he finds this old photo book of his boyfriend and his boyfriend's ex-boyfriend. Coach Ben is salty about this, but Paul is just trying to tell him that this means nothing. Everybody has a box like this. He's my past, but you're my future. And it looks like Ben ate that up enough at least. But it's interesting that they showed us this specific flashback. I think that Paul is out there with his ex-boyfriend since Ben is missing. He don't know where Ben is, so he's moved on with his ex. I figure that's the only reason why they're showing us this, because why else would they show us this? But y'all let me know what y'all think, and let me know your thoughts on this episode in the comments so we can talk about it. And if you haven't already and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.